Hey guys, what's up? I'm Deepak Srivastav. Welcome to my channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon. So in today's video, I will show you how you can use Microsoft Form to create a conditional form. Okay, so before we go forward, let me show you what I mean. So this is an example form that I built. So this form I'm using to collect feedback on the different products. As a user, when I open this form, I need to provide some information like first name, last name, ratings, and then I can select one or many products on which I am providing my feedback. Okay, then I have feedback type. So as a user, I can select what kind of feedback I'm providing, whether I am reporting an issue, or I'm reporting an enhancement, or I'm reporting an feedback. If I select issue and provide all the required field here, I'll click next. The form will take me to the next screen where I need to provide more details about the issue that I'm reporting. So issue title, detail about that issue, the category, priority, or if I have any image file related to that issue. Once I provide all this information, I can submit this form and I'm done. What if I want to provide an enhancement request? So if I select enhancement and I click next, then if you notice, the next screen now taking me to the different set of questions where I need to provide the request title, request detail, area where I want enhancement, and of course any supporting file if I have. Let's say I just want to provide a general feedback. So if I select general feedback and now I click next, completely different screen where I can rate the product, I can provide my comments and complete this form. So this is the form that I was talking about, the conditional form. Based on the user selection, you can decide what all questions they should be answering. Cool, right? Okay, so this is what we're going to build today, and I will show you not only just how you can build this form, but also how you can process the response that you are receiving from the users and save that response in a SharePoint list. So we're going to start without wasting any more minute. Okay. So first thing first, if you are creating a Microsoft form, where you want to go? You need to log into forms.office.com or forms.microsoft.com. Okay. Once you go to this site, it will ask you to log in if you have not logged in already. Click sign in, use your M365 login. And once you're in, you will end up on this screen. What this screen is showing me right now is showing me all the forms that I have already created, or forms if my colleague had shared with me. On the top, you will either see create a new form or you will see a new quiz. Okay, so you can create a form or you can create a quiz. We are going to create a new form today. So click on the new form and this will take you to the screen where you can actually start creating your form. And first thing that you want in your form is your form title. Okay, so I'm giving a name or the title for my form, product feedback form. If you notice the small green icon here, what this allows you to do, it allows you to add an image to your title. You can search an image in the browser, or you can do it from OneDrive, or you can just upload the image from your local drive. I'm going to select one image. Pretty good, right? So you can have your own image as a title image. If you preview, you can see your image here. Now there's a couple of more settings that you can do. If you look at the theme, you can actually apply a custom theme to your form, right? Or if you don't like any of the theme that is available by default, you can hide it, click on this plus icon, and then you can actually upload your own image. Okay, so I just uploaded an image. And when you going to upload a custom image, it's going to just take the background and it's also going to pick the color from that image that you're uploading. What you can do, you can also override this color and have your own custom color for the header and the buttons. So in my case, I'm just going to pick a color code. And now if I preview, and you can see this, the theme of my form has changed. Once you're done with your theming, your header, your title, then you need to start creating the fields for your form. It's very straightforward. Click on the add new. There are multiple fields are available for us to start using, so like choice, text, rating, date. So for this form, I'm going to start creating some text field. So let me create those fields for you. Okay, so I created two fields, first name and the last name. Then I'm going to add one choice field. This is going to be multiple answer. So multiple answer is multi-select. So user can select more than one. I'm going to use this field to ask how many products or what are products they want to provide feedback on. Okay. Then I will add another choice, and this is for the feedback type. And in my case, I have three feedback type that I'm requesting from the user. They can provide me an issue request, they can send me an enhancement request, or they can give me a general feedback. Okay, and this I want to keep single select because that's what I need. I want them to select one and then provide additional information regarding that selection. It is required. Okay, and if you preview the form right now, so you have your first name, last name, product selection checkbox, and your request type. Okay, so this part is done. Now for each selection, like for issue, enhancement, and general feedback, I need to create different set of questions, right? And not only that, I also want to make sure that those questions stay together. So if I want to see all the issue related question, I should be able to see them all together. So how you can do that? So there is another control that you might have seen is called section. So what section is allow you to do is allow you to create a page in the Microsoft form, and on that page you can have a set of fields. Those belong to this particular section. And if you notice, as soon as I added this section, it is saying section 2 because the first page or the default page is our section number 1 or the page number 1. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to create 3 sections, one for issue, one for enhancement, and one for general feedback. Let's preview how it's looking right now. So as I said, as soon as I added a new section, I can see the next button here. And once I click, it's going to take me, of course, I need to provide the required field. Once I click next, it's taking me to the issue, enhancement, general feedback, how I created them, correct? That's good. We created around 3 sections and the default home page. But what we want, that if user going to select the issue, they should go to the issue section. If user select enhancement, then they should go to the enhancement. And if they select general feedback, they should go to general feedback. And after that, the form should be completed. They should have the submit button, not the next. So how you can do that? So in Microsoft Form, there is an option that you can find on each control. It's called add branching. Okay. And what this allow you to do, it's allow you to set the rule that when user is going to select that particular control, what should happen next. And when you use this with choice field, it actually is more powerful. I'll show you why. Click on add branching. Once you enable the branching for a choice field, you see here what happening. For each choice, I have this option to set condition that what should happen if user is going to select a particular choice. So if user will select issue, what I want them to go to the issue section. If they're going to select enhancement, then I want them to go to enhancement. And if they select general feedback, then I want them to go to general feedback. Pretty simple and straightforward, right? So this part will cover what will happen if user is going to select a particular choice. But there is another requirement that we have, that once user at the issue section and he or she provide all the information, I want this form to be completed. No further question I want to ask to the user. So what you need to do, if you go to the each section here, so I'm going to the section number 2, you can have branching for the section as well. So click add branching, and under the section you see here go to. So instead of next, what I want to end this form. Similarly for section 3, end this form, and also section 4, and this form. Go back and let's preview. Let's select issue. I click next. I am at the issue, and now I'm seeing the submit button, not the next. If I go back, click on enhancement, click next, I'm at my enhancement section, and now I'm seeing submit button. Similarly, if I go to the feedback, next, I'm at the feedback. Perfect, right? So we created the conditional navigation, right? Now the only thing we need to do, we need to go to the each section and add the required field that we need under that each section. So let me quickly add those fields here. Okay, so I completed my fields, and under issue I have added these text column. Issue title, it's a text column. Issue detail, a text column, but I have enabled the long answer. So the long answer is allowing end user to provide multi-line response for these questions. Okay, I added some choice control here, category and priority, and also an image control. So to add the image control, you just need to go here. There is an option called file upload. Click that. It will show you all the detail, and you can just have it. You can allow user to upload up till 10 files, and the maximum size a single file can have is 1 GB. Okay. There is one quick note on the file type. So if you are planning to use the file type in your form, that is only going to work if this form is going to access by the users under the same organization or under the same M365 tenant. If you are planning to send this outside of your organization, then file upload will not work because this uses the OneDrive. So if you're sending this outside your organization, it won't work. Similarly, for enhancement, I added some text field, some other information like area, and also the file type. And feedback, I added one rating control and one text, multi-line text to collect the comments. Okay, pretty simple, straightforward form. You can decide what all fields you want to have in your form based on your requirement. So if I preview the form right now, you can see I have all the information. Let me quickly do one. Okay, so let me create an enhancement. I go next, enhancement title. Okay, I can click upload the file. It's going to ask me to upload a file. I can do that. Once I'm done, I can click submit. Form completed successfully, no issue there. So that was the quick walkthrough on how you can create a conditional form. Done. Now what about receiving the response, processing it, and saving it back to a SharePoint list or anywhere else where you want? I'm going to take example of SharePoint. Okay, so before we do that, let me show you what I already have. So I have this SharePoint list that I created, and as you can see here in this list, I have enhancement, issues, and feedback. So this list has 3 content types. One content type for enhancement, one for issue, and one for feedback. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the form response that we have created here, and based on the selection what user is doing, I'm going to create an item here. If user is submitting request for issue, enhancement, or feedback, I'm going to update this list using Power Automate. How I created this list and how I'm applying these content type, if you like to know, I have another video on this one where I demoed that how you can use this multi-content type list and use Power Automate to actually create item. So that will help you. The link is going to be in description. To work on the flow, we're going to log into flow.microsoft.com. I'm going to create a new flow. This is going to be an automated flow because we want this flow to be automatically start when there is a response from the form. Okay, and for the trigger, I can see here the first trigger in the list what I want when a new response is submitted. So I'm going to select that, click create, and here it's going to ask you the form ID, and the form ID is nothing but the name of the form that you want to use. So I'm going to pick my form name. Now the next step that you need, once the response is received, you want to process that response, and how you can do it, just type form, go to Microsoft form, and there is one action, get response details. And what this action is going to do, it's going to extract the response from this trigger. You need to select the form ID again. So I'm going to select this form ID, and the response ID is coming from this trigger. So when a new response is submitted, this is the response ID. Select that. Okay, perfect. I'm going to save it, and let's submit one form to see how the response actually look like. Just adding some information. I'm also going to upload a file. Click submit. Done. Come back to your flow. Okay, so the flow completed successfully. Let's see what we have received. If you look at the trigger, it doesn't have much information, but if you look at the response detail, you can see all the fields that we have in our form are displaying here. Okay, and if I click on here, so this is the response that I have received. Let me copy that. Okay, so this is how I'm receiving the response from the form. I have the field ID, the GUID that they call, and what the user has provided. So who has responded it, when, and then each field and the type. So this is my issue title, this is my first name, last name, this is that multi-select checkbox. So I selected SharePoint and Power App, some other detail. Okay, and then this is how the file comes. It says the file name, it has a link. As I said, this is actually automatically getting saved to the OneDrive, and some other detail about this file. But if one thing you notice here, all this response is type string. So whenever you see these double quotes, it's telling you that this information is type string. So even if this is multi-select, it is coming like a string. This entire file information is also coming like a string. And why I'm telling it to you, because we need to know this when we're gonna process this response. Okay, so let's go back to our flow. We got the response. Now what we need to do, we need to create an item. So I'm going to SharePoint, create an item, select your site and your list name. Once you do that, of course, it's a SharePoint, so it's going to show you all the fields that we have in the SharePoint list, and then you can provide all the information that you are getting from your form. The title, right? What you want to be the title. So title I want, and if you look at my form, so we have this issue title, and then we have the request title. So I want to make sure that whatever user is typing as a title for the issue or enhancement request, I want that to be the title of my request. So I'm using very simple expression here called concat, and then click on the dynamic content, and I'm going to search for issue title, comma, request title. Click OK. Okay, assign to claim. I'm just going to pass my email address here. Issue status, again, it's going to be the active in my case. Priority, I know I'm getting from the form, so I'm going to just to my get response detail and search for priority, and I have that field here. And if you want to see, there is a priority field I have. Okay, similarly for the category, I'll go to the custom value, search for category. I don't have the due date, so I'm going to just type in UTC now. UTC now is going to just give me the date of today. Area also I'm receiving from my form. Details I'm getting in my comments field. And then we have the submitted by. So here what I want, I'm still going to do the custom value. I want the email of the user who sent this response to me. If you look at the form here, there is something called responder email. So I'm going to select that. Now, what if you are not seeing that responder email here? Go back to your form, go to these three dots, go to settings. There is a setting called record name. If you uncheck that, you will not receive the responder email. So if you want to collect the person email who is sending you the response, make sure this is turned on or selected. Then we have this multi-choice product value. In my SharePoint list also, this column is multi-select. And if I just show you quickly a couple of items here. So I selected these two value for this multi-select choice box. If I click on this small icon here, then you can see how it is expecting the value to come in from. So you need to provide your input in this format. Okay, so it should be an array, and each array should have these individual elements. If you look at the response that we are receiving, so we are receiving response like this, right? And we want the response to be like this. So we need to convert this to something like this. And how you can do that? So quickly go to the add a new action called compose. go to expression. We're going to use a function called JSON. And what JSON is going to do, it's going to take this response, because this is string right now, and it's going to convert it to the well-formatted JSON, or you can say well-formatted array. It's very simple. Select the function, go to the dynamic content, and select your multi-select field. That's the one. Click OK. And once this string is converted to the array, then you need to make that array look like this. So what you need to do to get to this format, I'm going to add another action here. This time I'm going to search for select. Okay, so under data operation, you have this function or action called select. And if you read the detail about this action, what it does, it take an array as an input and create another array. And then you can add more information to that array as you need it. So the from is going to be the output of your previous action. Now, before we move forward and create that, let me also show you one more thing. If you look at the form that I created, this product, I kept it optional. Okay. So what if user is not going to select any of the product? This action, the JSON that we are trying to convert the string response to an array, will actually give you a null because there is no response in that field. In that case, this select will fail because this will not be an array. So what you need to do, there is a quick expression that you can use to overcome that kind of scenario. I'm going to say if equals, go to dynamic content, the output of the previous action is null. So what we are saying, if the output of this action is null, then I'm going to just on the fly create an empty array. Else I'm going to just pass whatever output I'm getting. Click OK. Now this action will help you to avoid unexpected flow failure. And then next, in the value, you just need to type the value. And in the value, if you go to the expression, just type item. So this item function give you the current item on this array. Let me save and run it. Okay, so flow got completed successfully. And now if I go to compose, so as you can see here, the JSON function converted that string to an array, and then our select converted that to the format that I was looking for. This part is good, done. And now only thing you need to do, you need to just go in here in your multi-select checkbox and just pass the output that you are receiving from the select. In the rating, I'm going to do enter custom value and then select my rating. Okay, and this is also a rating control in SharePoint. And then we have this content type ID. As I said earlier, in my list, I have 3 content type. So what I need to do, I need to dynamically set this content type based on the request type. So how you can do it, just click on enter custom value, go to expression. This is going to be very simple if statement. And what you need to do, you just need to say if in the dynamic content, whatever field you are using to create the different type. In my case, it's feedback type. So I'm going to just search for that, right? And then I'm going to say if this is equals. Okay, so if equals issue, then I need to pass what? The content type ID of the issue. And how I can get that? If I go to my SharePoint list, go to the list settings, okay, and then for each content type, I just need to select that content type, and from the browser, I can just copy this ID. Go to my flow and use like this, okay? And just to show you guys, so it's going to look like this. If equals, this is my feedback type column that is coming from the form, is issue, then I'm passing my issue content type. Then another if enhancement, then enhancement content type. Else, this is the feedback content type. Okay, so that part is done. Good to go. Let's save it. Now next thing is about the file, right? In our response, the response that we are getting all the information about the file, but it is also in a string format. So what we need to do, we need to convert this to a well-formatted array. And how we do that? You're going to just add a compose action. Yes, you are correct. JSON, and then pass your file output. So in my case, issue image, that's the name of my column where I am passing the image. So issue image, right? Click OK. So this action is going to convert that string to an array. Okay, so once you convert your file to a well-formatted array, one thing that you definitely need to do, you need to add a condition here. Okay, and just check if the output is not equal to null. And why I'm doing that, because if your file upload is not required, maybe people are not uploading any file, then this will be the null. Okay, and you don't want to process null because then it's going to fail your flow. So check it, and if it is not null, then I'm going to use an apply to each control. So apply to each is going to be the output. Now why we are doing apply to each? So let me show you. This can have more than one file because it has option to provide 1 to 10, right? So what we need to do, we need to go through each and every file that we are receiving and then add an attachment to this item that we just created. Okay, so we are going through each and every item here and then add attachment action. Of course, you need to select your site, your list, then ID. ID is very straightforward. You use this create item action here. It will give you the ID of the item that just got created. And then we have the file name and the file content, right? File name, we know we are already getting in this response. Okay, so to get the file name, select the file name and search for this, the loop that you have. In your case, if you rename it, it's going to be something else, but search for that one. In my case, it is apply to each current item. I'm going to just select the current item, copy it, go to the expression, paste it, right? So this is the current item of this loop. So for an example, if you have the 2 file, this loop will run for 2 times, and each time this will give you the information about that file. So that will have all of this information, name, link, ID, and all of that, right? For the name, what you need, just add a question mark, single quote, and name. So this will extract the name. Then we have the file content. So for file content, we need to add another action here called get file content. Because we know this file is getting saved in OneDrive, so I'm going to use the OneDrive for Business and get file content here. And what it need a unique identifier for this file. How I did the name, I'm going to just copy that, go to the file identifier here, go to the expression, paste it, and instead of name, click OK. Okay. Now, of course, this get file content should happen before the add attachment, so I'm going to just drag this down. Okay, and then in the file content, you just select the file content from the previous step. Click Save. Your flow is ready. Now let me quickly go to my form and let's submit one request. Okay, click Submit. Let's go back to the flow. Okay, flow completed successfully. Okay, that's all for today. I hope this will help you and you will be able to create some cool form using this concept. Thank you for watching and thanks for subscribing to my channel. Keep learning, keep watching. Thank you.